This is the story of a tragedy within a tragedy. Within days of the December 7, 1941 Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Washington ordered a hasty investigation that blamed the attack on just two men. These men were the Army and Navy commanders in Hawaii, General Walter Short and Admiral Husband Kimmel. Humiliated, ridiculed, and demoted, these two men shouldered the pain of an entire nation. But over 7 decades, the real story has emerged. The truth has led military men, Pearl Harbor survivors, and even the United States Congress to fight for the restoration of Short and Kimmel's rank. This is the truth of Pearl Harbor. These are the facts of a real tragedy. This is the story of Admiral Kimmel. Admiral Kimmel's attempts to get his rank advanced were repeatedly rebuffed by the Navy. Admiral Carlisle Trost, Chief of Naval Operations in 1988, gave as his reason the now known to be flawed research of author Donald Goldstein. When confronted with the findings by Michael Gannon, Professor Emeritus at the University of Florida and author of Pearl Harbor Betrayed, the then-retired Admiral Trost changed his mind.
When Admiral Carlisle Trost was Chief of Naval Operations, I had the opportunity of meeting him at the home of Captain Edward Beach, the famous World War II submariner and author. This was a very welcome opportunity for me to have the chance to talk with Admiral Trost about the case of Admiral Kimmel. Admiral Trost told me that he had recently caused a study to be run on the Admiral Kimmel case by his Director of Naval History. And when that report came back in negative form, Admiral Trost said, I felt I had no alternative but to turn down the Kimmel family's request that the Admiral's case be reopened. And I said, I wonder on what grounds the Director of Naval History judged Kimmel unworthy to be advanced to the highest grade held during the Second World War. And Admiral Trost said, well, I'm not sure, but I can arrange for his report to be sent to you. And he did send me the report, and I went through it, and I found that the most damning evidence that the Director of Naval History could come up with was that Admiral Kimmel had been given clear warning by the Martin Bellinger report that any attack on Oahu Island would be made from the north. And indeed, the Japanese did attack from the northern sector. And this apparently was the driving reason for Admiral Trost to turn down the Kimmel family's petition that Admiral Kimmel be advanced in grade, posthumously. I read through the report thoroughly a second time and then decided I would try to reach Admiral Trost and tell him of my findings, which I did. And on the basis of what I discovered, namely that there was no warning about the northern sector in the Martin Bellinger report, Admiral Trost reversed himself. By that date, he had retired from his position as Chief of Naval Operations, but he did agree to send a letter to his successor in office. And I drafted the letter. And he sent it whole and entire, all 2 pages of it, without a single change to his successor. And that letter is in the files of the Chief of Naval Operations today. Nobody has acted on the letter, and I just hope that one day some tireless investigator will uncover the letter and use its findings as a way of finally doing justice to Admiral Kimmel's name.
Help right a wrong. End 70 years of injustice. Urge the President to act now and restore the ranks of Admiral Kimmel and General Short.